Welcome to the Saturday edition of The Box Seat. I'm Adam McGrath and joined by Mark Olmos. Mark, 8 races to take a look at. We've got a taste of Ascot, we've got a taste of the really good weather, and now the racing is increasing and we're getting to the business time of the season.
Isn't it brilliant, Adam, this quality racing? Welcome to our viewers. And I'm really looking forward to seeing William Pike bounce back after a lacklustre weekend for him by his standards last week.
Yeah, we'll say as well, because we had plenty of people talking about that on social media. Sometimes patterns are patterns, aren't they? Nothing to do with William Pike, did nothing wrong in the ride, but when you ride back markers and it's a leader's day, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get the job done, but he looks to have another very good card in front of us, and hopefully Real Love pulls up well and we see him heading to the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. Let's get straight into the racing and take a look at the conditions that we are going to be faced with. The Mooble Rail is at an inside position. Perfect day for racing, as you can see with the conditions there on screen as well. And race number 1, Mark, it's an event for the 2-year-olds at 1,000 metres.
Yes, Adam, another one of these very good 2-year-old races. It'll be interesting to see how they all come to the races, how they all handle it. But we'll have a look at one of them who has race experience, Golden Trigger, running second last start at Ascot.
Well back in the field as they went by the 300. Demons and Dust is the leader. Over on the outside is Golden Trigger, who keeps coming, and now here's Annie starting to join in. But Golden Trigger at the 100, the leader. Annie's got it though. Annie levelled up, got the head in front, and the newcomer Annie pulls away to score it.
It was a nice performance there by Golden Trigger. Obviously trialled nicely, beaten Annie in that trial, and as I mentioned when we did the preview, I just thought Annie had more up the sleeve, which was evident on race day. But Golden Trigger had a pretty tough run throughout, jumping and being wide in that run. But my concern here, I mean, they stripped away from the rest of the field, so it is good 2-year-old form. But barrier 12 here, this horse is going to get a very similar run again. No doubt it's got class, but it's pretty tough being out wide throughout a run for the 2-year-old.
Yeah, it was drawn wide last time as well, or drawn 5 last time as well, but was caught 3 wide. Did have to do a lot of work. The thing about the barrier 12 here, it didn't jump as well as we thought it would on debut as well. So from barrier 12, they might ride cold and ride for luck. We've also got number 2, Aaron Boy from the Steve Wolf yard, trialled very well. Sean McGruddy takes the ride here, and tell us a bit about the trial, Adam.
Well, on face value, this is the horse you should have on top. It's as simple as that. I thought the trial was really good, wasn't asked for a lot. These gelding by demerits, just going absolute great guns at the moment. A great stock coming through, drawn perfectly in barrier 6. We know that Steve Wolf and Sean McGruddy had that purple patch a while ago, and their gallopers were going well. So this is one of the leading chances. I expect it to be very hard to beat.
And the other trial, the key trial to have a look at here, is Mystery Affairs trial. Now, one very nice time there, 55.72. The second fastest 950 metre trial out of this race behind Aaron Boy was 55.68. Heart of Heart also comes out of that trial, and that they went along, and Heart of Heart, the son of Snitzel, looks a nice type as well.
Yeah, they're the 2 trials I think that you really want to analyse outside the race form of Golden Trigger that you mentioned. Aaron Boy, slightly quicker time under a lot less pressure, which is, I think, was why it was a much better trial. Mystery Affair was really nice for trainer David Harrison. We know that his 2-year-olds get going early. Barrier 11, a small concern. My concern for Mystery Affair was it was under the whip a fair bit out, but this is a filly by Gingerbread Man. Looking forward to seeing how their stock goes at this season as well. But I thought Heart of Heart was the better trial from that trial itself. Paul Harvey had nowhere out. You saw him sitting behind, trying to zigzag out, never got out, and then late just worked to the line strongly. This colt by Snitzel appears to have a bit of upside. Barrier 7, a little bit tricky, but I'm happy to just put a bit of specking on this horse and think he can get the job done. I'll put it on top from 2, Aaron Boy, which I think is probably the obvious selection, 1, Golden Trigger, and 9, Ibiza.
Yeah, I'm going with the likely favourite, Adam. Number 2, Aaron Boy. From the 3, Heart of Heart, 11, Mystery Affair, and 1, Golden Trigger.
Race number 2 at Ascot, it's over the 1,000 metres, and Mark, plenty of speed when you take a look at this speed map, and that may suit a horse that we saw last start flying home again.
It did, and it'll start at a very short quote here. Number 1, Sweet Aura. Let's have a look at it, running second at Bunbury.
3 lengths behind them, then Saul Special. G-Boss still battling. I Am Boudica starting to wind up down the outside for Hill. She's coming with her run. The River further back at the 200 though, and I Am Boudica ranged up. Hit the front. Saul Special can't go with the filly. She's booted away. Down the outside comes Sweet Aura with a late finishing burst, but it's I Am Boudica with a stunning...
Could not believe the pace that we witnessed in this race at Bunbury. Amazing how fast they went out in front, these 3-year-olds, and Sweet Aura was one of them, getting home very quickly and just fell short of I Am Boudica. A tremendous race record this Galloper has got now. 8 starts, 4 victories and 3 placings as well. And I think from barrier 6, she's going to get the perfect run throughout. Yes, she carries a little bit more weight. And I mean, a horse like Diamond Princess gets a 3-kilo swing for only 1.5 lengths when they met a while back. But I just think she's got the class in this field. And again, the race is going to map out perfectly.
Yeah, it looked to be a moral beaten last start, especially with that speed on. But I Am Boudica, all credit to that filly, did very, very well as well. Adam, the one setting the speed will be Atacama Sky. Now, burnt along in that Bunbury race. It won't get it all its own way here, but can certainly play a part, especially if it's a leaderish kind of day.
There shouldn't be as much speed as there was last start, which will suit, but there's still a lot when you take a look at this. Wrinkly is a horse that's pushed forward. Atacama Sky loves to lead. Diamond Princess led in a Class 3 56 plus. Now we have to analyse those form lines strongly because racing against those older horses is a really good performance and only carries the 52 kilos here. But what's up? Doc likes to go forward. I'm Incredible goes forward, as does Miss Somebody as well. So that's why I just think with all of this speed, it's going to set up perfectly for Sweet Aura, and I'm putting her on top from number 8, Precious Memories, 3, Atacama Sky, and 4, Diamond Princess.
I've got the one on top as well, Adam. Sweet Aura from the 3, Atacama Sky, 5, I'm Incredible, and the 4, Diamond Princess.
Race number 3 at Ascot. It's over the 1,600 metres, a 72 plus event. And Mark, I'm really intrigued to see this race. Some nice types. We know that Flying Raw's in career best form. Star Exhibit, we're expecting a big campaign from Poonamoo as well. Scales of Justice. And then we see the return of Kiora Kutu with the blinkers going on as well, which I think will be a really nice change for this galloper.
Yeah, an interesting race, and especially trying to map out where these gallopers will get to in the run. Very, very interesting. We will have a look at the replay horse though. Scales of Justice on the quick 1 week backup, just getting nosed out by Tradesman.
By Lord Conrad in the straight though, infatuated led. Scales of Justice claimed it. Proper Andy's coming down the outside with Tradesman though with their runs, and Crusoe's getting up near the fence. Outlaw Peter now, Universal Law, he's starting to gun them down. Scales of Justice, Tradesman, Universal Law coming late, they went to the line.
Nice performance there by Scales of Justice. Had it won before the bob, after the bob, but on the line it was Tradesman that was able to get the job done. I've been impressed just with the way that Scales of Justice has built through this campaign. Now, if you're a punter, you might be disappointed because $1.60 and a $2 favourite's been beaten, but I felt that those prices have been a little bit ridiculous. Now, I think this race suits a smallish field, getting out to the 1,600 metres, and I think can sit outside Flying Raw. I see it as a real winning chance in this race.
Yeah, the mile for me is the question, but I think it should be no worries. Hit the line quite well last start. There's a whole swag of other runners in this race. We'll kick it off with number 3, Star Exhibit. Looks to be a good chance after that fair first up run, but can certainly improve off that.
Well, Flying Raw, Star Exhibit and Poonamoo all come from the same race. Now, Flying Raw sat just behind Infatuated, which really walked them. It was a genius ride by Paul Harvey on that occasion and attacked the line strongly. It was a really nice run. Star Exhibit, I thought was a little bit disappointing, but I'm happy to forgive first up. And I thought Poonamoo, out of the 3, actually attacked the line strongest and probably is looking for that 1,600 metres. So for this race, with the way the race will play, I actually think Poonamoo, out of those 3, is the better chance.
And Adam also there, Paseo del Prado. Now, interesting to see how it goes here. This galloper is, for every 3 runs he has, one of them will be a good one and 2 of them will be a bad one.
I wanted to bring this galloper up for one reason and one reason only. And Mark, you'll know what price this horse is roughly opened up at. What can we expect for Paseo del Prado roughly on opening?
Probably about $67, Adam.
Go back 4 starts ago, was beaten 2.8 lengths by Flying Raw. Gets an 11 kilo swing. 11 kilos for 2.8 lengths. Now, you're $60 for that, or I reckon Flying Raw, $5, $6. Maybe worth a cheeky each way bet. Not my numbers, but 11 kilos is a lot of weight. I think it's certainly something to consider when you're doing the form in this race. But I will be tipping number 4, Scales of Justice, from 7, Poonamoo, 3, Star Exhibit, and 1, Flying Raw.
Love it, Adam, throwing one out there for the viewers. I've got the 3 on top, Star Exhibit. I think it can go one better second up. Ahead of 4, Scales of Justice, 7, Poonamoo, and 5, Kiora Kutu.
Race number 4 at Ascot. It's over the 1,500 metres. And Mark, if you're alive in the early quaddie with Tab Touch going into this leg, I hope you've got the field because this is a tough race to separate.
It is. There's a lot of form lines, Wednesday form lines, Saturday form lines. But we'll have a look at the unlucky Card Night last start, just getting beat by Jaspara.
Led them for home over Lion Cruiserelli's Grey. Here comes Jaspara down the outside. No run for Card Night. At the 200, he draws the whip on Andrini, but Jaspara quickly claimed it. Jaspara dashes straight past Andrini and Card Night, and this is going to be a fine first up win. Jaspara too good for Card.
Standing next to you watching this race, I may have thought you could have had some money on it, or you may have had it on top, because the squirm and the couple of noises that I heard throughout would suggest that you were definitely unlucky in this race. And re-watching it a couple of times, Card Night was almost a moral beating on this occasion. That held up throughout. Gets that lovely barrier again. I tell you, Eric Waite's been lucky with this horse this campaign. Barrier 6, barrier 5, barrier 1, barrier 2, and barrier 5 for this race as well. Drops to the 56 kilos. As I said, it's not an incredibly strong field. There's nothing that stands out. You know what you're going to get with this galloper.
Yeah, you do, Adam. And on that occasion, you were holding your breath. He was always pocketed in and going to struggle to get out. But the thing about it was, when he did get out, he hit the line so strongly. So certainly one for this race, Adam. Number 3 there will be our favourite, Forever Diamonds. Grant and Alana Williams, Bob and Sandra Peters, William Pike rides.
There was two horses that you did not want to be on at Bunbury last day. It was Scales of Justice at the $1.60 and it was Forever Diamonds at the $2.40. It dropped back from the 13 to the 1200 metres, and I remember when looking at this race, it was the biggest no-no of the day. Now still worked home nicely in a time of 33.89. Stretching out to the 1500 metres is ideal for this mare by Almaher. I think she's going to love this extra ground, and to be honest, I think she's the best in the race.
Yeah, I totally agree. Ability-wise, she's certainly the best in the race. Number 9 there, Someday, One Day from the Justin Warwick yard. Peter Hall rides here. Last start was good at Bunbury, and I think those Prying Tom forms might be fairly reasonable.
Yeah, I think the form lines are very good, as you mentioned. The one question mark for mine was that the horse didn't really run through the line. Behind Prying Tom, there was a wall of them, and they all just sort of plugged away. But I think the form lines, as you mentioned, there are certainly worth following. And again, this horse has been very consistent. Its last 4 runs hasn't finished any worse than third, and now draws barrier 3, so he's going to get a lovely run through the early stages. So I think it's definitely one that you can have, but I'm going to throw out number 3, Forever Diamonds, as Cerise and White, from 7, Card Night, 2, All Too Much, and 9, Someday, One Day.
I'm going the 9 on top, Adam. Someday, One Day from the 10, Come On Board, 1, Casino Bell, and 2, All Too Much.